transfer window is now closed, and there are five particular Nigerian players that I'm looking forward to seeing in this upcoming season. Now, before I get into specific transfers, these are just my personal picks. If I tried to do every single Nigerian player that got transferred to a different club, this video would be hours long. But let me know in the comments if there are any Nigerian players that I should look out for or who you think should deserve to be transferred in this window or future transfer windows. At number 5, Ademola Lookman, from RB Leipzig to Atalanta. Having spent a good amount of time in the Premier League and Bundesliga, but never really cementing himself as a regular starting 11 player, Ademola Lookman has now moved to Serie A, and at the age of 24, he is now entering his prime and could be a regular starter for Atalanta. He has started off well so far this season in Serie A. Even though he has come off the bench, Lookman has made 2 appearances in the first 2 games and already has 1 goal. As a team, Atalanta might not be winning Serie A anytime soon, but it is a competitive league and Lookman will be playing against some top quality teams like Juventus and Milan, and players such like Ibrahimovic and Vlahovic that will only improve his game and bring benefits back to the Super Eagles. Number 4, Joe Aribo, from Rangers to Southampton. Joe Aribo had a great time with the Rangers in the Scottish Premier League, winning the league a few years ago against Celtic and getting to the final of the Europa League got his attention to get a move to the Premier League. Like Lookman, he already has a goal this season but seems to be a regular starter. He also has to be playing more like a second striker, false 9 or out and out forward, so he's definitely becoming more versatile since normally his position is a midfielder or a central attacking midfielder. Southampton is unfortunately a mid-table team, but the Premier League is arguably the best league in the world due to the competitiveness, and at 26, Aribo can only get better. At the Premier League, Joe Aribo would still have a good time to play high, fast football, which can only benefit his game in the future. At number 3, Emmanuel Dennis from Watford to Nottingham Forest. Unfortunately, Etebo, Trust Ekong, Maduka Okoye, and Samuel Kalu could not follow Dennis to the Premier League after Watford's relegation last season. But any Nigerian player able to remain or get a move to the Premier League is a positive thing in my opinion, and Dennis actually deserves to stay in the Premier League. As Watford's top scorer last season with 10 goals, Dennis is a versatile player who can play as a striker and as a winger. He hasn't yet made an appearance for Nottingham Forest, who bought a whole new team for their return back to the Premier League after many generations in the lower leagues of England. But if they go on a cup run or need a super sub to change the game, Emmanuel Dennis could be the one to do so and make the difference from a defeat to a draw and from a draw to a win. Last season with Watford, Dennis was able to be the difference, scoring against big teams and making sure that Watford had a fighting chance, even though the rest of the team were still struggling. At number 2, Taiwo Awoniyi, from Union Berlin to Nottingham Forest. I'm personally happy for Taiwo Awoniyi. He has had so many loan spells from Liverpool, and now he's back in the Premier League with Nottingham Forest. Another Nigerian player who is now in his prime at 25 years old and already has a goal this season for Nottingham Forest. He is a tall striker who is also very physical and technically gifted, and I expect him to be a starter, but he will have to fight for his position. Like I said before, we also have Emmanuel Dennis who will also be at Nottingham Forest, so Taiwo Awoniyi would have to fight for his position this season. And at number 1, Calvin Bassey from Rangers to Ajax, the first Nigerian to play for Ajax since legendary players like Babangida, Finidi George, Sunday Olise, and Nwankwo Kanu. This is a transfer that I'm really excited for because Ajax is known for developing young players into future stars, and Bassey, only at 22, shows quality and versatility, being able to play as a left back and centre back. And yes, he unfortunately got a red card in one game this season, but his future is definitely bright. He is great on the ball, strong and technical to calm the other players in his back line, and playing for Ajax means Champions League football is almost guaranteed every season. Normally, they are the best team in Eredivisie, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how he gets on playing against other top teams in Eredivisie like Feyenoord. So those are the Nigerian transfers I'm excited for in this summer window. I said in my earlier videos that without the World Cup, the Super Eagles are going to need this transfer window and the one in January to get good moves and improve their quality for future tournaments. So it's nice seeing some transfers for certain players to top leagues and around the world. Hopefully their time at their new club is fruitful, and like I said earlier in the video, if there's any player I should cover or look out for, do let me know. As we enter September, we do have the other matches for the African Nations Cup qualifiers, and we're hoping that Nigeria can continue their form so far and make sure that they qualify for the tournament.